In space, no one can hear you scream. Hello everybody, Jordan here, the PH is silent, and in this video I'm going to wrap up my thoughts on the Spelljammer campaign setting. There will most likely be more Spelljammer videos in the future, as I ultimately will find something new to talk about, but this video I'm going to discuss the various expansions that came out and some of my favorite adventures, plus just a few final thoughts. First, this video is sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge is the place to create custom 3D miniatures. If you've been with the channel for a bit, then you know about Hero Forge. They have a crazy amount of options when building a 3D miniature. Your standard fantasy race exists, but also you could play a bear, fox, elephant, frog folk, kobold, serpent folk, and more. I have personally used Hero Forge for 3D prints, utilizing their color plastic options, and I've always been happy with the outcome. Hero Forge right now is having a Black Friday sale that goes until November 30th, 2020. You can get $5 off physical minis with the code EPICLOOT. And during this time, 3D printable STL files are just marked down to $3.99. So go to heroforge.com today and start crafting that custom character you've always wanted to play. Thanks again, Hero Forge. Spelljammer came out in 1989 for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. This came with information on the crystal spheres of Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, and Greyhawk. I did mention that you could travel to Dark Sun, but I was incorrect, and thank you people for pointing that out in the comments. The settings of Dark Sun, Ravenloft, and Mystara were not included within the Spelljammer setting. The first two were considered too different and didn't fit in with Spelljammer, and the third, Mystara, was only used with basic D&D rules, not advanced D&D, so it was intentionally left out. After the box set, several expansions and accessories were released. One of them being the Legend of the Spelljammer, which expanded the lore on the Spelljammer itself. Hey everybody, so I wanted to do a little bit of video on the Legend of Spelljammer, which is a supplement that came out for the Spelljammer campaign series, but I had a fan contact me, and Joshua, who's really cool, he mailed me a very good condition of the AD&D Spelljammer, the Legend of Spelljammer. So I thought it'd be fun if we just kind of like flip through it right now. He also sent me some Greyhawk stuff, Forgotten Realms, Lankmar. So it's going to be fun, and maybe we'll flip through those in a later video. But for right now, let's just dive in and look at like this really cool package. So we have the box, and then within this was a lot of different stuff. These were the three main modules. So we have the Grand Tour, Captains and Ships, which is all the extra added ships that they had, and characters, like Mark the Blind, which looks like a beholder. And so all the different characters and what have you that are part of this setting. And the Grand Tour, which looks like different locations within. So specifically this supplement was about the Spelljammer ship itself, which is this very large manta ray looking ship that has a city on the back of it. Yeah, and then the legends behind it. So we have all of these different, there's the ship itself. It's really cool. And the truth behind the legends and all the different tales, it's kind of this interesting, it came with stats for the Spelljammer itself if you were gonna go fight. We've got a Rock of Baral map, which is really cool. So a map of that whole asteroid area, and a lot of this is in really great condition too for 1992, 91. Yeah, there's the ship. And then if I open this up, you won't be able to see, but it's Spelljammer. It's just huge. Yeah, too big for my camera, but over here in the corner, that is a nautiloid shown for scale. So that's like how big this ship actually was. And of course I say actually was, but it's a fictional ship. So I mean, that's how big. Anyway, yeah, and a bunch of other really cool stuff in here. We've got a lot of the maps for various areas. The star map that I showed in some of my videos where you can actually have the space combat, they wanted to give you a hex grid. This is a poster of some of the different ships that we can run around with. We've got an Nautiloid, a Neogi Mind Spider, a Death Spider, a Beholder Tyrant. So really cool. And a Galleon. Hey, it's everybody's favorite ship. We got a Dungeon Master's screen. This is kind of well used, which is awesome. And then we have here some cardboard cutouts. So the game actually came with little ships that you could pop out. And this is like the Damselfly and the Scorpion. We've got a Nautiloid up here. And you take these and punch them out, glue them together, and they stand up. And I don't really want to do that right now because this is just so cool that it's still together. And thank you again, Joshua. Really, really awesome. But yeah, this is fun. Like, and you don't see this a lot anymore, I don't think, you know? And so then finally we have, these are on like a cardstock, and this is just the stats of your ship. So if you were piloting a gnomish whelk, here's all the stuff that it can do. And then on the back, here's the interior of where you could stay and have smaller battles inside if you needed to, you know? It just gives you the layout of the entire thing. We've got Cuddle Command, which is really cool. And then you have Deck 7, so it goes straight up. You can see here, it goes vertically up. The Neogi Mind Spider, which is really badass. The Battle Dolphin. Unity Ship. Whale Ship. Yeah, so this is fun. So thank you, Joshua, for giving me this. Really, really cool stuff. I want to say that not only is this just a fun thing to have in my RPG D&D collection, but it was really cool to kind of be able to unbox this with you guys, the viewers. So I hope you guys enjoy. Another fantasy expansion was the Astramundi Cluster, an entirely new crystal sphere of free-floating asteroids. It was described as unimaginably old, predating most crystal spheres by several millennia. The Astramundi Cluster has a detailed history and unique factions that reside within it. The Antillean Empire, or the Sun Mages, the Illithids, the Neogi, the Varan, which are the humans, and others. There are also 13 primary deities in this crystal sphere, and many of them are patrons of non-human races. This expansion, there were new ships, new spells which involved sun magic, piracy, navigational hazards, and crystal citadels. Cluster space, as the crystal sphere was called, has thin barriers in relation to the inner planes. Now, most crystal spheres are rooted firmly in the prime material plane, but this one was different, and it was very easy for inner plane creatures to move into cluster space. Now, one of the rules was that if you found yourself plane hopping from within cluster space, if you ever returned to the prime material plane, you will in fact return to the Astramundi cluster. Wizards of this realm used their combined powers to create a spell that binds the essence of those in cluster space. And so basically, you're kind of anchored there. And I think this was a way to not use the Astramundi cluster as a way to shortcut to other crystal spheres by way of the inner planes, such as you could take a quick jaunt through the plane of air and that could then bring you back to the Forgotten Realms. But however, rules are meant to be broken, right? The Astramundi Cluster box set came with a bunch of adventure ideas. It was a welcome addition to the Spelljammer franchise. In 1993, TSR licensed a DOS PC Spelljammer called Pirates of Realm Space. It was a turn-based RPG game, and I was so excited because archive.org has a DOS emulator and the game is archived there. But sadly, it crashes right at the start of the game. So there's that. I mean, Wizards of the Coast, if you want to, I would totally play an Elite Dangerous or a No Man's Sky that was based in Spelljammer. I'm just saying. And with the success of Baldur's Gate 3, you're wondering to yourself, what's going to be my next game? And I'm telling you, it's Spelljammer. Just call me. Call me. Other accessories include practical planetology for creating your own worlds, the Rock of Brawl, which was a home base for adventuring parties, a kind of spaceport, the Realm Space, Kryn Space, and Grave Space supplements, plus a plethora of adventure modules. I mentioned the Adventure Wild Space in my last video, but other ridiculous favorites are Crystal Spheres, where the party has to stop a space vampire from blocking the sun, and the Heart of the Enemy, which is a classic locate the MacGuffin to stop the space monstrosity and avert all-out war. I recommend all three of these. TSR discontinued the Spelljammer product line before they were acquired by Wizards of the Coast. When Wizards started making 3rd edition, Spelljammer wasn't in the future. Some of the monsters made it in, such as the Nyogi. Then, with 4th edition, much of the same, except there was a brief talk in the Manual of the Planes referencing Spelljammer ships. With 5th edition D&D, we have certain Spelljammer monsters added to the game, such as the Nyogi and the Gith, and there are also subtle hints about Spelljammer within certain adventures. So I suppose minor spoilers for Dungeon of the Mad Mage and Rime of the Frost Maiden. In Dungeon of the Mad Mage, there is a level that includes a Spelljammer ship, a helm, and mind flares from space. The helm is listed as a magic item and has some information on how to attach it to ships and pilot it. And in Rime of the Frost Maiden, there is a fallen Nautiloid Spelljammer that you can explore. This arguably is a tie-in for Baldur's Gate 3, but who knows? Maybe they are subtly dropping hints to see the interest in Spelljammer for future products. Time will tell if Wizards of the Coast updates this older setting. If you want more Spelljammer fun, there were 15 comics released in 1990. Published by DC Comics, I can't find a collection edition of them anywhere where all 15 are in one graphic novel. And sadly, I can't find them digitally either, but they have to be out there somewhere. And if you're willing to pay, there are some copies comic collectors are selling. There were also 6 novels set in the Spelljammer campaign setting. I personally have not read them, but they connect as a series and were all written by different authors. I've wanted to have a D&D book club for some time now, but finding the time to read while making videos and playing games and being a dad is difficult. However, I'll put the first Spelljammer book on my potential D&D book club list, and maybe we can have a semi-monthly book club for old and new D&D material. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Spelljammer journey. Patrons, you are amazing, and thank you for helping me keep the lights on. If you are interested in hanging out in our Discord or seeing some of my homebrew that I post, please check out the Patreon. Like and subscribe and tell your friends about Spelljammer. Maybe they will run a game for you. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.